Hello everyone, long time no see. I hope you all are doing well and taking care of yourselves out there in this crazy world we live in. Marathon launched about a week ago now, and to say things are a little controversial surrounding the game might just be an understatement. I try to stay far away from social media because I think it's just a bunch of crap, but all I've seen is Steam chart numbers this, and arc raters that, people loving the game, especially Destiny 2 content creators, and then people hating on the game and hoping Bungie falls on their face. I'm going to throw all of that out the window because I believe we are all capable of making up our own minds. If you simply enjoy a game, then you should play it, regardless of what others say around you or what your favorite streamer says. If you don't like the game, then don't play it. Pretty simple if you ask me. After playing all weekend, almost hitting level 30, playing all 3 available maps, and in the gameplay you guys are watching the 3rd map, I also played solo and with a team, probably around 60% solo and 40% with a team. I even clutched up some 1v3s with random teammates that you'll see here in the gameplay in a second, and I was enjoying myself. But I do have to be honest and say Marathon suffers from a major flaw. And then the worst part is that this flaw flows throughout the entire game like a massive river, drowning out player by player, and it's unfortunate to see. Now, Marathon does do some good things. I think the gunplay feels great, as it should from Bungie. I think the shells are done well and offer different playstyles. I personally like the art direction in the game. I think it's different and unique, but I know that could go either way, depending on someone's taste. I think the sound and the music of the game is great, and then the lore surrounding everything is awesome as well. But the major flaw that runs throughout this entire game will always hold Marathon back in the long run, and it will continue to bleed the players over time until there's just this small player base left, and I think that's a huge issue. But first, we have a quick sponsor. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. War Thunder is the best vehicle combat game ever made and is free to play on PC, console, and mobile devices. You basically take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, and that's of 10 major nations ranging throughout all of history, going back as far as the 1920s. War Thunder has incredibly detailed vehicles, with realistic graphics and authentic sound effects that make you feel like you're truly there, and taking part of history. With over 95 million players, there is simply no game better suited for fans of military history. Also, War Thunder now has an all-new mobile version on both iOS and Android, allowing you to take the battlefield wherever you go. I think my favorite thing about War Thunder is that there is a game mode for every single player. Arcade suits those craving fast-paced matches with enhanced vehicle performance and simplified physics, while simulator mode ditches all guardrails for the ultimate challenge. And then there's realistic mode, the perfect middle ground. It strikes a balance between intensity and authenticity. So make sure you guys give War Thunder a try for free by clicking on the link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment. It's free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices, and then new and returning players on PC and consoles that haven't played in the last 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack that includes multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium content. It's available for a limited time only, so be quick about it. Make sure you guys click those links down below, and thank you so much to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so I'm going to explain this the best way that I know how possible. You have Marathon sitting up here at the top, right? Down here at the bottom, we have player enjoyment. How much does someone enjoy the game, right? You would want some sort of filter that goes like this, leading down to this player enjoyment. That means, let's say if this is 100% of players, you have left down here a good, 75% maybe, right? This is kind of like your funnel that you would want players at the end of the day to be enjoying your game. Well, unfortunately, this is not the case with Marathon. Let's get rid of this funnel, rid of that 75%, and this is what it looks like more for Marathon. And that's because Marathon has this issue that flows throughout the entire game. And that's its bottleneck of players and how it's going to bleed these players over time. That's just not going to be enjoyable. If to get to player enjoyment down here, you need to enjoy aspects of the game, right? There has to be something pulling you into the game that keeps you wanting to play the game. Well, for Marathon, you have this as an extraction shooter, right? You have an extraction shooter. So instead of the funnel being the way that I showed you guys, it's already cut off a little bit coming in, right? Because it's extraction shooter. The next thing you really have to enjoy with Marathon is you have to enjoy that it is purely PvP. PvP is what runs this game. It's the enjoyment you're going to get out of the game. PvE is okay, like the robots are fine, but PvE in Arc Raiders is better, and then PvE in other games, like for example, Destiny 2, is just better. So you really need to enjoy extraction shooter and you need to enjoy PvP to like this game. Now, Marathon already knew that going in. They probably understand that they're going to lose different player bases. Maybe they thought more people would stick around for this PvE aspect of the robots, but unfortunately, it's just not that enjoyable. It doesn't feel that good. And let me tell you, if you're solo against like purple shielded robots late in an extraction, you're probably going to get shit on or not have enough ammo. But that's beside the fact. You have to enjoy extraction shooter and you have to enjoy PvP. The next thing you need to enjoy, you have to grind upgrades, okay? And these upgrades make the game feel better. So you need to grind for like the heat upgrade, right? Your stamina bar, if that's what you want to call it. It makes your shell feel so much better when you're running across the map. And if you don't have this heat upgrade, it doesn't feel very good. So you have to grind, which means you need to put in time. And that falls under the second spot under the grind is the time to play, right? How much time do you have to dedicate to playing this game? I don't know how much time that is. That's different for everybody who plays the game, right? But this time includes those upgrades, right? The grind to upgrade your heat and all that. But this time that you put into the game also is your skill level, right? How good are you going to be? Because you do need some sort of skill to be playing a PvP shooter. That's all there is to it. And the more time you put in, the more skill you obtain, right? And you're going to need that skill the further you go into the map. So the third map that's unlocked with the 3 different wings and you all meet at the center, those players on that map have a lot more skill. They have a lot more gear and they're not dying very often. So when you come up against them, especially if you're solo or if you're running random match made, you're probably going to struggle. But again, skill comes with playing games, playing PvP games over time, and you would get better at that. But again, it's the time that you need to invest to make that happen. So you need to get those upgrades and you need to get that skill level. The next thing you have to be okay with is losing gear you've earned, right? This is an extraction shooter. If you take in exotic piece of armor, right, or a purple shield, you can lose that gear. And this goes hand in hand with the skill that you have, the time you've played, the upgrades that you have, right, that you've grinded. You can lose this gear and that feels pretty shitty, right? You would feel rough after that. So you have to be okay with losing gear. So you have to be okay with extraction shooter, PvP, the grind that it takes to upgrade your heat, that then further makes the game feel better, the time you need to invest in the skill to make later on maps feel better, and then you have to be okay with even losing that stuff that you've grinded for because it's an extraction shooter. You know, you're gonna go in and lose gear. So as you can see, this funnel keeps getting smaller and smaller. Next, we'll add a seasonal reset. So every 3 months, this is all reset. Now, they did mention that they are keeping some stuff over from the seasons. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I thought it was just titles and emblems and any accolades you've earned, but I'm pretty sure that like the 6 vendors that you've grinded for, that you've upgraded this heat, I'm pretty sure that resets every 3 months. If that resets every 3 months, you have to go through redoing that over and over. And I'll tell you what's not going to feel good is redoing the first 20 hours of the game where you're upgrading your heat, your melee damage, all that stuff. That's not going to feel good on a seasonal reset. And again, you have to be okay with that seasonal reset. Think of it as something like Diablo 4 or Path of Exile, where you lose pretty much everything and you start a fresh character. That's something you have to be okay with. And a lot of people are not okay with that, right? So this funnel just keeps going smaller and smaller. Another thing you have to be okay with is if you're going to grind solo or with a team. And let me tell you, the team experience, this team experience over here is by far better than the solo experience. I'm not saying you can't grind solo, but solo is literally made for maybe the first map. As you move on to the second and the third map that is currently available, that solo experience gets more rough and rough unless you're doing something like just a rook. But again, still, a team is more enjoyable. A team is more fun. Fighting off waves of the UESC robots, right? And the purple ones that come in, taking them down, getting the loot, getting the key cards, open up the caches. That's enjoyment, but you need a decent team to do that. And it just feels better as a team. That's all there is to it. It's just the same thing with like if you play Apex Legends, right? Solo or with a team is better and it's always going to feel better. And then one thing I wanted to cover was build crafting. A big thing they talked about was build crafting, right? And there is definitely build crafting in this game. But the problem is you have to have the gear, which is over here, to actually do a good build. But you could lose this gear every run, right? You could lose it over here. It's just unfortunate because let's say you finally get the good implant that you want that goes with the shell that you're going to use, and you play for 2 hours, you lose that, those items that you had because your skill is not the best. We're not god tier gamers out here, so this skill level over here, we're gonna lose loot. Only the top 5% of the game maybe is gonna retain their loot over and over and over. That's not us. The normal player is not this. We're over here at like the 50-50. We lose 50% of our fights, we win 50%. Especially if you're solo down here in the bottom left, or if you're with a team, just random queuing, right? You're like, all this stuff is leading up to just more and more things that make the game not enjoyable for just the normal player, right? Someone that you would want spending money on your game, someone you would want buying the game, and this is the player enjoyment down here, right? So you funneled this so small to all these different areas of the game that creates this like niche audience. That's what this creates. Just an audience that is very small. Now that audience is going to really enjoy this game. They're going to have a good time with the game. It's probably a game they've been looking for a long time. And as far as I've seen, like, it's a very, very sweaty PvP game. Very sweaty, really sweaty, probably too hard, honestly. That's the way that my experience with Marathon has went. And that player enjoyment just falls off when you have to sit here and tick this box that I liked this, tick this box, this one, right? You're just going down a list, and I'm sure there's stuff I've left out from this list. This is just things that I've experienced in the game personally. And I think that it just gets more and more hard for me to enjoy my time that I'm putting in. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with Marathon as a game as a whole. I think it is a decent game. But when I say decent, I mean average. Like, I don't know, 6 out of 10. Maybe I'll give it a little nod and push it up to 7. But for the average players out there, which are 90% of players, are your average player, right? This game is not for them. Maybe Bungie knows that. Maybe, Sony backing them knows this. But if you know this and you know your player count's going to be really low, it's only going to go lower and lower as time goes on. There's too many games coming out. There's too much competitiveness within that market of games. And you're just going to have a hard time retaining that player base season after season. And then that's not even taking into account the other side of it that I don't even get into and talk about, is with Bungie in general and burning goodwill between Destiny 2 players and, stuff with that game that's going on, right? And then that's not even looking out at the other aspect of other PvP games out there, right? Stuff like Arc Raiders, Tarkov. And then if you want to, those are extraction shooters, right? If you want to even go bigger in PvP, stuff like Apex Legends that still holds players. And then those other ones, right? I think that's the core issue of Marathon, is you have to go through all of this to get that good player enjoyment. And unfortunately, 90% of us just aren't going to enjoy ticking all these boxes off every season that we need to play the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just my thoughts on Marathon. I know it's been a long time since I posted a video, and I feel bad about that, but there's no content going on in Destiny 2 right now. Brings new stuff. I post videos and I cover the content, but if there's nothing to cover, I'm not going to sit here and post videos over and over for you guys that gets just lower and lower views and you guys don't enjoy, because I think it's just a waste of my time. And I think it's a waste of your time as well. I want you guys, every video that you come out to see that I post, that you get something good from it. And unfortunately, Destiny just has nothing new for me to build, craft, and post a video on. So I'm going to be doing that Path of Exile 2 channel soon. I'll let you guys know. I'll probably post one video on my channel just saying, hey, here's the channel. If you enjoy me, if you enjoy Path of Exile 2, please come over, check it out, subscribe, give my first couple videos a watch, because that would really help me out. Let me know down in the comments if that's something you guys would do. Shout out to War Thunder again for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or on mobile, and use my links down in the pinned comment or video description to register. Those of you who are new or haven't played in the last 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across PC and console, including multiple premium vehicles and in-game currency and more. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.